Okay, I'm here at OSCON with J.P Rangaswamy. J.P, how are you doing?
I'm good, Barton. How are you?
Doing well. So you are the chief scientist at BT, and you were on earlier today talking about the cloud and the future. And I really like what you said about in nature there are no SLAs. Can you sort of explain what you were talking about that and how that applies to the cloud?
Sure. I think that people need to remember that many of the best utilities that we have built, the internet, the web, the wireless environment, etc., are built on fundamentally frail, best efforts infrastructures. And the way that service is delivered is by people being clever around and on top of what is fundamentally frail. And I think that frailness, the organic nature of what is there, is very, very important in terms of scale, in terms of price, in terms of the capacity to create innovative value. And there are so many elements of how, in order to gain predictability, we give away a lot of the original value. The best example I can think of from sort of scientific history is the kind of thing that happens when you slow down a keyboard because it was jamming and you design QWERTY, and then you find that you solve the jams, but the concept of QWERTY is now stuck. And if we're not careful, we will do things to try and harden the environment, which then stay with us even in a hardened environment. And then value gets destroyed. So I was very keen to drive people towards the belief that many of the things that are happening on the web are organic in nature, they are participative, they're based on relatively light, small standards, it's componentry, it's small pieces loosely joined, the feedback loops are closer to how you'd see sort of cellular automata behave. And if we do that, then we're going to be able to capture the value of the cloud. Whereas today I'm hearing people privatize the clouds. It's not that I'm against SLAs. I'm against the throwing away of value under the guise of false beliefs in SLAs.
So now, where are some of the key areas that you think the cloud needs to develop in at this point in the next couple of years going over? What are the key areas that need to be shored up?
I think more than anything else, interoperability, and to get that transparency. Right? Security is something where I think it's overplayed because Web 0.0 was insecure, more insecure than 1.0, and 1.0 is more insecure than 2. I never hear of breakages at the 2.0 level quite as much as I've heard at the 1 and the 0. Now you could argue that's because the scale isn't there. But actually the scale has come there, and I'm not convinced that we're taking the right stance there. Similarly, there will be issues about financial stability, there'll be issues about the nature of the billing models, etc. But more than anything else, I think if we concentrate on federation as a mindset, that people will be able to create services that are daisy chaining from different providers what they want from each, rather than vertically integrated choiceless stacks. That the ability to move and migrate between stacks, particularly to do with data, is understood and priced. Right? It doesn't come free, but we need to know that we're not going to be leaving customers isolated with nowhere to go in what essentially becomes a dead end. You only had to speak to some of the music service people in the early stages of our having internet-based music services who've been in these dead ends and not been able to migrate away and keep value. I can see the same happening with digital sort of copies of books and manuscripts. Right? I'm sure you personally have bought PDFs that are stored in lockers somewhere within the web. And you bought them because it was the most convenient thing at the time. But it is stored in somebody else's walled garden. So I know that whether it's scientific journals or management journals or whatever, I've requested electronic reprints, but I don't have a simple way of being able to garner all those and gather them and use them because of the historical model. So I think interop is more than anything else the predominant, and that's why I'm so worried about the SLA, because the things people are using to stop the SLAs from becoming lightweight are to do actually with preventing interoperability.
Excellent. J.P. Rangaswamy, thank you so much.
Thank you, Martin. Nice to meet you.